So I'm going to spend this wrap up taking this tea because I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, and this was recommended by my doctor. It apparently has some things and paracetamol, so hopefully it should help. And I figured I'm just going to take this, make this a very chill wrap up, try and make it a very short wrap up, because I want to see if I can actually get all my thoughts across in as short a time as possible. So wish me luck.
To be talking to you, belladonna. Should have taken a break, not an Oxford comma. Take what I want when I wanna, and I want you.
So I read about 11 books this month. 9 physical books, 1 audiobook, and 1 comic. The first volume of The Wicked Plus the Divine comic. Now this comic was a comic I chose to read both for the newts, the just concluded newts, which, yes, spoiler alert, I actually did pass. I read all 9 subjects to become an auror. So it worked for the newts as well as the mythathon challenge. So yeah, The Wicked Plus the Divine, I read the first volume of the series. It's a reread, and every single time I reread the series, I kid you not, my favorite god keeps changing. Now, before I go into all that details, what is The Wicked Plus the Divine about? Basically, we follow this set of gods, this pantheon of gods. They are reborn every 90 years, and then something happens which is called the recurrence, whereby these normal everyday people get visited by this older supreme being who basically ushers them into their godhood. And from when they become gods, they live this crazy, out there, very, very extravagant rock star life for 2 years until they die. And when they die, they go away, and then they are reborn in another 90 years. So we basically follow different timelines, but right now in the first 5 issues, that is the first volume so far, we're following the 2014 timeline, and we're trying to solve a big mystery of exactly who is trying to frame Lucifer. Now, like I said, every single time I reread this series, because this graphic novel is one of my favorite graphic novels. Like, I have certain favorites. We all know Neil Gaiman's Sandman is supreme being, like high up, way higher than everybody else. But Wicked Plus the Divine is like a very close second. Like, it's a favorite. I love the diversity. I love how 3-dimensional the characters are. I love being able to get their motivations. I love how strong the suspense bit in the comic is. And like I said, in this first volume, we are trying to solve the mystery. We never do solve the mystery at the end of the volume, but we do get another mystery tacked onto it, and it's just, I love it. I love rereading it. Every single time I reread it, it makes me very happy. Every single time I reread it, it just fills me with that burning desire once again to live a life that I'm proud of, to live my life like I have 2 more years to live. Because, you know, ultimately that is a recurrent theme in the comic. You know, the fear of dying, the fear of being able to do every single thing you want to do. The whole point of, if it is that you know you're going to die soon, are you going to keep yourself from doing every and any single thing you want to do? Are you going to keep yourself from being happy, from living the life of your dream, from living your life on a high? And yeah, every damn time I read it, it just fills me with that whole burning desire of, okay, this thing I'm doing that I really, really resent it. If I was to die tomorrow, would I be perfectly fine with knowing that I wasted valuable time in that precious few seconds / moments I had doing this thing? Of course, it's also all about, you know, being special, trying to find, you know, the godhood in your everyday life. What is the actual price of fame / godhood? Like, I repeat, definitely a favorite series. So yeah, I finished the first volume. My plan is to actually read like a couple of volumes every month until the end of the year, because I want to finish my reread by the end of the year. Of course, first volume, loved it. Like I was saying, every single time I reread it, my favorite god keeps changing. Like, every damn time I'm always changing. I'm like, okay, 1 minute I'm like, oh, Baal is my favorite, and I'm like, no, Lucy is my favorite, and oh, Amaterasu is my favorite. Oh no, I love the Morrigan. Oh no, it's Baphomet. Like, I keep changing my favorite god with every reread. But this reread, at least this volume, once again reminds me of just how much I love Lucifer. Like, she's brilliant. I love her. Like, I love Lucy. I love Lucy. The end of that volume never fails to get to me. Like, never fails. Next, I read Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. It's yet another reread, but You all know I've been reading the Harry Potter books for the last couple of months, and I'm almost done with my reread for the year. I like to reread Harry Potter books every year, and I'm not about to go into much details because practically everybody has read the series and practically everybody knows just how important / fundamental, you know, Half-Blood Prince is. All I would say is that this is going to tie to a future video I intend to make, but I'm just going to say it right here. It is at this book that you start to realize just how manipulative Dumbledore is. And I think sometimes we get so carried away by, you know, beloved headmaster. Like, for the very first couple of books, you know, we're seeing him through the eyes of Harry. He's older, he's wiser, he's respected. We love him. We love him, like, you know, as a grandfather with a twinkle in his eyes, you know, who basically always stands up for us, you know, and everything else. And then as you get to the later books, you realize just how flawed our heroes are. Like, I think that is what I think, like, starting from book 5, yeah, starting from Order of Phoenix and even down to Half-Blood Prince and further on into Deathly Hallows, I think the last 3 books in the series definitely do focus. Of course, there are a lot of things, but it always gets me that our heroes are flawed, our heroes with feet of clay. I love it when that comes into play. It breaks my heart. The ending of this book will never fail to make me cry, like heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. But of course I love it because once again I of course give this a 5 perfect stars. It is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I don't think there's any Harry Potter book that I would ever give less than 5 stars, no matter how many times I reread it. Like, they're a favorite for a reason, they're a childhood favorite for a reason, they're a forever favorite for a reason. So 5 perfect stars. And my poor boy Harry, he does not know how much worse it gets for him by book 7. Just saying. And speaking of poor boys who's going through emotional trauma, and Draco Malfoy, oh god, like, rereading it just reminds me of how we were so cheated from a redemption arc, a complete redemption arc for Draco, and I'm just offended about that because we could have gotten that. We totally and absolutely could have gotten that. I feel cheated, but 5 stars anyway. Next, I read To Kill a Kingdom by Alexander Christo. I listened to this on audiobook and I gave this 4 stars. I loved it. I listened to it on audio, and I gotta say, like, I intend to have the physical copy of the book because I loved it that much. Like, I did give it 4 stars. But I think that the audiobook, like, further, like, just enhanced that entire experience. 10 over 10. Would recommend if you have it on audio and I've been wondering if maybe you should give it a listen. I love the lore. Okay, so before I go into all that detail, before I go into all that detail, which just occurred to me, I don't think I went into detail. I don't think I went into detail with regards to what happens in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. But then again, I'm wondering, do you really need to know, like, if you've not read Harry Potter yet, me talking about book 6 kind of like spoils things, right? And if you've read Harry Potter, we all know what happens in book 6. So I think what I'll just say is that in this, like I said, we learn more about, we get a bit more backstory into Voldemort, how he became what he became, and we start getting the first teasers into how to unravel the mystery that is him and how to eventually take him down. Like, that is all I'm going to say about this. Yeah, loved it. So with regards to Kill a Kingdom, so what happens is that we follow a siren, Lyra, who is the princess of the ocean. Her mother is the sea witch, who has all the powers of the ocean and is very brutal, very bloodthirsty, your very definition of a villain. And then you have Lyra, who is the princess, who is basically known all over the seas, all over the land as the Princess Bane, because she's a siren who delights in ripping out the heart of princes and royalty. And when she one day disobeys her mother turns her into a human and tells her that she has to retrieve the heart of Prince Elian, and she has to do so as a mortal without any of the beauty and the song that basically she enjoys as a siren, and which helps make her job of killing, you know, said princes easier. But see, it's not that easy, because the prince that she's meant to retrieve his heart is Prince Elian, and Prince Elian is a famous siren killer. He has basically been killing sirens, and he has gotten really, really good at doing so. So you have two contrasting characters who all want different things. Lyra wants Prince Elian dead and wants to gain control of the oceans from her mother, and Prince Elian is looking for a way to, one, kill the Princess Bane, and also totally and completely wipe out sirens forever. So it is the perfect setup for a great enemies to lovers story. You all know I have a big weakness for enemies to lovers. Like, once I see them in a book, I fall in love. I'm like, gimme. I want a lot of that, and I got that and more with To Kill a Kingdom. There was the instant dislike, there was the instant distrust, there was the hard winning of trust, and then a even harder win of friendship before they went into romance. Like, this is your very definition of a slow burn. So if it is that you went into this book expecting like the relationship to pick up immediately, it doesn't. And that is what I love about slow burn romances. You can legitimately believe in the relationship. You can see how it grows. You can see how they move from distrust to mutual respect, to eventually liking each other, to eventually becoming friends, and then when the emotions come into play. Like, I loved it. I love the twist. I love the banter. This book also has one of my favorite tropes, which is the found family trope. In this case, you have Prince Elian's crew on the ship, and you see how much they're a family. You see how much they love and respect each other, and especially how much they love and respect the prince. It's not about his princely station. This is somebody that has worked hard to earn the respect of his crew. And I love the banter. I love the relationship. I love how that worked. I love the ending in the sense that, okay, there's a bit where we established in the story the kind of life that Prince Elian wants, and I was like, oh my god, how exactly are we going to get that, and also, you know, do what is right, and we're able to get both in the story, and I don't feel cheated, which makes me very happy. The only reason why this book got a 4 stars and not a 5 was because I felt like we didn't get enough of a background of the sea witch. You know, we didn't get her motivation. She was just like a cookie cutter. I'm a villain because I'm a villain, because I'm mean. I understand that not every villain needs to have a backstory. In fact, I'm perfectly fine with that. But because the story was told purely from Elian and Lyra's perspective, I just felt I wanted to know more about the sea witch. Like, not necessarily, oh, this is why she's bad, but I just wanted to know why she hated the humans so much, you know. And because even down to what it was, that from what we understood from Lyra, this was not yeah, a lot of the previous sea witches have been like that, but her mother apparently took the hatred of humans to a whole other level. It would have been nice to like know more about that, but it wasn't something that was so pressing that would make me drop the rating to like a 3.5 or a 3 stars. Like, no, this book is a solid 4 star. Like, on a good day, I wake up and I'm like, that book is a 4.5 stars. Like, that is how I feel on certain days, and that's it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Solid book. Would highly recommend, especially if it is that you have if you like stories about sirens and mermaids. And you know, a lot of the time when we talk about sirens and mermaids, there's a particular imagery that comes to mind. This book is not afraid to go, like, this book is really dark and very gritty and very bloody. Like, we follow the original mythology of sirens, you know. They are beautiful, yes, their songs lure sailors to their death. They jump overboard and the sirens pull them down. But in this folklore, this book takes it further to show us, you know, into the bit of folklore that actually has the sirens reaching in and pulling out the hearts of these sailors. And like, my bloodthirsty heart was ready and very happy. Next, I read City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. Yes, you all know I am doing this is my first foray into Cassandra Clare books. The only understanding I have of the world and the law is the Shadowhunters TV show, and once again, yes, I totally and completely agree. The books and shows are totally different. Like, if I'd read the book first, that show, I would have had a lot of problem with it, because there are so many things that the book does way better that I wish the show had actually followed through on. But in this, we pick up from where we stopped, in the sense that Jace and Clary are still convinced that they're brother and sister. Valentine is missing, and Jace is trying to, now that his entire identity has been turned on his head, Jace is floundering, and it's even worse because with the Inquisitor showing up and casting doubt on his person, and Maris being, and is she Maris or Maris? Because I think it's Maris in the book, but I'm so used because the show kept calling her Maris. Okay, so with Maris tossing him out for that brief moment, out of partly to protect him, but also partly because she's worried that he could become like his father, and that's a theme throughout this book. The whole case of, do we become who we are through nurture or through nature, even though technically Valentine did raise him for a long period of time in his life. So, you know, technically all these questions are coming in. Simon is getting used to what it means now that Clary is a single woman, and there was, this is why I started getting very, very annoyed, because it was very jealous, very whatever. Even the way their relationship started, he didn't have a conversation with her, he just automatically said that, oh, she's my girlfriend. And even Clary was surprised, and even Luke was surprised, like, oh, when did that happen? And Clary was like, I guess I'm his girlfriend now. Like, I had a problem with that. Simon, large part of this book was so annoying, like so annoying. Oh, god damn, it was so annoying. But things definitely picked up. I really enjoyed the fact that eventually each of these characters, you can slowly see them growing and becoming, you can slowly see them growing, you know, learning more self-awareness, except for Jace. Jace was still making stupid mistakes. Clary was also making, what am I even saying about growing, whatever? No, they started being less annoying, but that was towards the end of the story. And I'm guessing the reason why for me probably has to do with the fact that the plot really kicked in, and I was just carried away, because the ending of this book had me shooketh. Like, I was so surprised. I did not see a lot of what happened. I did not see a lot of the twists coming, even though I knew some of what was coming from the show, but it was told so differently in the book that it still surprised me. And I like the way in which it played out. I like the way in which the conflict, I like how it is. See, I say this thing, I said, like, that was a problem I had with Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, which was the first book in our Witchland series. When it is that you're setting a story in a larger world, when it is that you're telling a series, you should have an overarching story / plot that you want to follow, but each of your books, each of your stories should be able to stand as an individual unit and be able to tell a complete story in its own self, while simultaneously driving the larger plot that belongs to the entire series. And I would definitely say that City of Ashes, like Cassandra Clare, knows how to do this well. This story is contained, it ends in the book, and then we move on to the next book, and the story continues like that and like that. And I really did enjoy it. I gave this a 3 stars. Yes, I know it's definitely an upgrade, because you all know I gave City of Bones 2.5, but this got a 3 star because of the ending. Like, I was so annoyed. I was worried. I was like, this book is going to become a 2.5 or even a 2 stars. And then I got to the end and I'm like, wow, I can't fault Cassandra Clare for this. I'm definitely going to give her a 3 stars. The incest thing, definitely icky. Thank God I've watched the show and I know that, you know, what is coming next. But still, definitely icky. And then I picked up City of Glass by Cassandra Clare because, you know, I wanted to read 2 books last month. Like, I think that Chain of Gold is almost here, so I need to, like, you know, pick things up with regards to how I'm reading the books. I gave this a 4 stars. I definitely love, like, this was a great ending to the trilogy, the initial trilogy. Now I understand when people tell me that, oh, when you read City of Glass, you understand that the story itself read like it was going to wrap up in one trilogy, and then Cassandra changed her mind and gave us another trilogy to form the 6 books in the Mortal Instrument series. But I definitely could see, like, this wrapped up so many threads. It still had us questioning things, but like the story ended on such a strong note. And I'm not gonna lie, I loved how Cassandra handled things in the book as opposed to how we got it in this show. Like, we could have had the ending with Valentine and the angel, but we didn't get it. And I'm pissed because I wanted to see that on screen. Like, that made so much sense considering the character, considering his motivation, the way that ended for him. I'm trying not to spoil this book. Is it obvious? Like, I'm trying my best not to spoil this book, but the way the story ended for him here made a whole lot of sense, and I loved it better than it did in the show. I also love the fact that the characters were definitely better grown. They were learning from their mistakes. They were not as annoying. Cassandra Clare had also written out the whole not like other girls, and so I hate every other girl thing that Clary was doing in the other books. Like right now she's having, you can see the friendships that started developing, not friendships with the other girls, but more like she does not hate them anymore because they are more attractive than her. And for that I was like, thank God. I was waiting for that to happen. Jace was an idiot, but you also understand why he was acting like he was. The incest was still icky, and then when you realize that it's a double incest, you're like, definitely icky, but I enjoyed it. Gave it a 4 stars. The writing was pretty simple. The world building, like Cassandra Clare knows how to build world. Like that one, I'm not going to dispute that. Like, this was a great book. This was I won't say it's a great book, but this was a good book. Like I enjoyed. I had a lot of fun reading this. I was just like, every single twist and turn, I was like, whoa, like so good, so good. And I can't wait to read the rest of the books in the series because I'm definitely pumped for it. So yeah, like I said, 4 stars. Loved it. And then I read The Poppy War by Harif Kwong. Like, I know you're like, oh my god, no, you reread your favorite book from last year. Yeah, I reread my favorite book from last year. You understand why in a couple of minutes. But like, is anybody surprised? Of course I gave it 5 stars in my reread. It's still as perfect. Rin is still amazing. She's still flawed. Oh god damn, she's still so flawed, but that is what makes her so good. All the characters, the stakes in this book, I'm still in love at the magnificence of R.F. Kwong's writing and how she affects me. I'm going to leave my review somewhere up here so you can check it out if you've not watched that review and are still like, oh my god, do I want to read this book? Trust me, it's a spoiler-free review, so you're good. But yeah, like, 5 star for the reread. Is anybody surprised? Like, is anybody surprised that my girl Rin still owns my heart and I will still defend her with every part of my being? Like, is anybody surprised? Because I'm not. And the reason why I reread this, because this darling, this baby, this gorgeous sweetie pie came out last month. Like, it was the perfect birthday gift. Like, I'm certain nobody's surprised, but like, I read this in a day. Yes, she's thick, she's big. I read that in a day because I couldn't help it. I had to. Every single inch of this book is perfect. Oh god, like, if it is that you love, see, Poppy War is grimdark fantasy. So if that is not your genre of books, if it is that you have this very clear-cut belief of what morality is and what right and wrong is, then grimdark fantasy might not be your jam, because in grimdark fantasy, might makes right. You know, so whoever is strongest and whoever is able to, you know, whoever like is standing is the one that is right. And in this case, I'm just my girl is right. So yeah. Can I really say my girl is right? Because she was a mess and she was making so many decisions, and I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? And like, I think it works so well because a lot of the times, Rin is your very definition of a soldier, of the soldier that receives instructions and follows it out, but is also driven by vengeance and also wants to do right, and ultimately it just, all these things combined, and still having a god who wants to rain fire and destruction all over the world, just, it makes my girl so tired, and she's just pulled in all directions, and she also loses sight of exactly who she's fighting. But at the end of this book, the promise for what book 3 would bring us, just, it made me lose my breath. Yes. So this book made me hate characters I thought I was going to love, made me love characters I thought I was going to hate, still further deepen my love for Rin and Kite and Venka, you know, because my babies. But I just, this book is so good. I have both a spoiler-free and a spoiler-filled review of The Dragon Republic. I'm going to leave it linked up here as well, so just go check it out. It's really, really good. I don't have words for the perfection that is this book, but for me too, because it just occurred to me that I just went all, I love this book, and I didn't tell you what this book was about. Like, this book follows, we pick up exactly where we left off in Poppy War. Like, I kid you not, pick up a couple of weeks after we left off at Poppy War. Things are dire. Like, my girl Rin, bad bad situation. She's addicted to opium. She's trying to shut out the voice of the venging god that is on her mind. She's trying to block out the images of the destruction she wrought at the end of the Poppy War. And it gave me life. And then there were so many twists and characters you thought you would never see again, they show up. Characters you wish you would never see again, they showed up. Characters you would definitely at the end of it be like, I hope sincerely that someone strangles you and skins you alive, and like, I don't know, because some people are just so some people are just so the book was good. Like, that's all I'm going to say. The book was good. If you were planning on reading it, you should absolutely read it. I would say be warned though, because a lot of people are like, oh my god, they went into this. I love books about military strategy. I can read a 500-page book that is just all about war, a long drawn out war and different military strategy, because I think a lot of the time when we read books about war, it ends so fast, and I'm always like, but war is not like this. War does not end so quickly. It's not just one win in one battle that guarantees you absolute victory. That is not how war works. And being able to see just how, you know, the amount of machinations, the way in which you have to keep changing your players and have to keep rearranging things, like, this book filled me with that. So, like, if that is not your jam, you might not enjoy it, but that is what I love to read about in books. Like, one of the things I love to read about in books, and this it had military strategy in spades. Like, this is a war. The Poppy War, 1/3 of it was war, because 1/3 of it was a YA lead up, right? No, 2/3 of it was basically YA, your basic YA of the orphan girl gets a chance to go into this elite training school and discovers powers that she never knew she had. 1/3 of it, that's 2/3 of it was that. 1/3 of it was the war. This book is all the war. Like, this book is all the war. So prepare for that if, like, you know, that's not what you like. But even if it is not what you like Rebecca does a great job with this book. Like, read it. But is anybody surprised that I gave this 5 stars? Because I'm not. Next, I read Illuminae by J. Christoph and Amy Kaufman, and let me just say, all my friends were like, Noria, you absolutely have to read Illuminae. Trust me, you will read Illuminae and you will love it. Trust me, you absolutely should read Illuminae. Like, really, you should read Illuminae. Is a book you should read. And I'm like, I'll read it. So I finally got the chance to read it last month, and I'm like, why did it take me so long to read it? Because this book is so good, so good. I walked into this book blind, y'all. I did not even read the synopsis before buying the entire trilogy. All I needed was my friends to tell me that you would enjoy this book, so I picked every single book. I picked up all the books in the trilogy, and I was like, I will get to it. And I'm like, so I finally get the chance to read it. You all are mean. Why didn't somebody tell me that it's a bit of horror mixed with thriller mixed with badassery, all in space, and you're going to lose your mind, and there's this AI that you'll be like, it terrifies me, but at the same time I want to protect him? Yeah, nobody warned me. I walked into this book blind, but I think that is the best, absolutely best way to read Illuminae, because not knowing what to expect, like, my mind was blown. I was just like, whoa. If you follow me on Twitter, which, by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, you absolutely should. I am at Noria the Reader on Twitter. But if you follow me on Twitter, you saw I was losing my mind for this, because I lost my mind. Like, everybody on Twitter saw me losing my mind. Yeah, I lost my mind. I lost my damn mind. Like, this. Basically, what can I say that would not say anything, so that anybody that wants to pick up Illuminae can have the same, who has not read it can pick up Illuminae and have the same experience I had when I read it. This book takes place in space. This book will terrify you. This book will make you think twice about, like, entering any form of transportation that is controlled by an AI. But at the same time, this book this book will make you want to absolutely only travel by transportations that are controlled by an AI, at least by the end. This book is about a badass young girl who is very smart, very, very snarky, very fearless, and the queen of my heart. This book is about a young boy who who has a way with words, who loves deeply, who is thrust into a situation he could not plan for but rises to the occasion, and who just wants his girl, and who is loyal but can also be a dumbass. This book is about a mass murdering AI who you're going to be terrified of and eventually love. Like, that is all I'm going to say. But all these things I'm just saying is that I love I love this book. I love the way the story was told. I love the format. Everybody says that I should listen to this on audio, that I would love it even more, and I agree. I intend to buy the 3 books on audio as well. Like, my Audible is like, it's already in my wish list on my Audible, like just waiting for me to hit purchase. I can't wait, because my reread of this entire series is absolutely going to happen on audio. I want to reread it. I want to reread it, listen to it on audio, and be following it physically, because this is one of the most beautiful books I have ever read, and I mean that. Like, every single page, the format is stunning. Like, it's mind-blowing. It's nothing like I've ever read, nothing like I've ever experienced. I loved every moment of this. I was hooked. I was engrossed. I could not put it down. I could not breathe. I could not think. I could not eat. I could not drink water. I could not move from any spot I was. I just had to finish this book because it was so goddamn good. So of course I gave it 5 stars. Is anybody surprised? And then I read the second book in the Nevernight trilogy, that is The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. Now, you all know I read City of Brass a couple of months ago, and I mentioned the fact that, oh, the City of Brass was very slow. It took me a while to get into it. I had problems with the world building because, you know, we're just dropped into it and random names were just dropping all over the place. I still believe that that is not the best way to build the world, but by Kingdom of Copper, because I had already had the experience in City of Brass, I actually had an idea of what was happening from the very start. And I was intrigued and I was captivated from the very beginning. I read this book. Like, I body read this book with Sarah of our Novel Serendipity, with Lauren of the Novel Lush, and with Joe of Average Joe Reads, and we had a blast. Like, we just kept messaging each other and be like, every single twist and every single turn, we're like, oh my god, oh my god. What we unanimously agreed about, though, is that, one, our girl Nari deserves a break. Like, she's earned it. She's surrounded by too many idiots, especially too many idiotic men. My girl just needs a break. Like, how hard is it for her to get a damn break? Something else well agreed about. Dara is an idiot, like an absolute idiot. Something else we agreed about. Ali is still an idiot. Like, you would think that he would have learned, but he's still an idiot. And don't even get me started on Maneze, because I just choke. That's all I'm going to say. The writing, I'd gotten used to the writing. The world building was still spectacular, like I said. Like, not spectacular, but I was used to it, so I really had a blast. I loved seeing Nari coming to her own. I loved seeing her getting more comfortable with her abilities. I loved seeing her, you know, getting closer to her heritage and our people's religion. I think it was too sudden, though, because S.A. Chakraborty pulled up this time jump thing in this book. Like, after the prologue, by the first chapter, boom, we're 5 years later, and I'm like, if you blink, you would have missed it. You'd have missed her being like 5 years. You'd be like, wait, hold up, it's been 5 years. So it just seemed too sudden. I think it was just a quick way to just immediately say that, okay, this is how much Nari has changed. Now people's religion that she never believed it, she's now a devout follower. Her abilities are much better. Like, I don't mind. I definitely love seeing competent in her abilities Nari, but at the same time, I just felt like it was too rushed. Like, that time jump, I didn't like it. Oh yes, I forgot something else that we all agreed on. Mutander is an idiot. Like I said, Nari is surrounded by a lot of idiotic men in this book. Like, you just be like, can my girl just catch a break? Can she just catch a goddamn break? Because she had more than earned it. But as always, the start was very intriguing. I'm not gonna lie. If you're not a fan of politics, like just like I mentioned with the Dragon Republic, I love stories about war and military strategy. I also love books that deal with like political and courtly intrigue. It's the reason why I love A Song of Ice and Fire. Like, I love all the machinations, the different houses, everybody trying to get one up each other. I'm not going to say that, oh, Kingdom of Copper is as good as A Song of Ice and Fire, because that series is, I need to own a physical copy. Like, I need to own it and reread it sometime soon. But anyway, I I'm not saying that it's exactly like it. I'm just saying that there's courtly intrigue and the different gene races and how they interact and what each one of them wants and what each one of them are dealing with and how everybody tries to one-up each other. I really enjoyed seeing it. I had a problem, of course, with the fact that sometimes you do not know exactly who was on whose side. I understand that, you know, it further helps the story, so we could see it from this perspective of like these players, these characters who really don't know exactly what is happening and who have become pawns in their stories even though they don't know it. The biggest pawn in this case being Doma's Dara. I repeat, like, you all know my thoughts on Dara at the end of book 1. It kind of solidified at the end of book 2, which I'm just like, I can't wait for Empire of Gold, because the ending of this book had me shooketh. I did not see that ending coming from a mile away. And now I have so many theories, and I'm like, I've become a conspiracy theorist. Like, I have so many theories on exactly what is happening, what is going to happen, what we're going to expect. Like, if you want me to make a video of my theories and my beliefs and what I think is going to happen in, you know, Empire of Gold, close to when Empire of Gold is getting dropped next year, just let me know down in the comments below. I will definitely do that video closer to the release date, of course, maybe like 2 months to the release date or something, you know, because I need the 3rd book. But I enjoyed this, definitely enjoyed it better than City of Brass. I gave this a 4 solid star. I'm looking forward to rereading it, at the same time terrified of rereading it, because I repeat, some of the characters in this book were so stupid. Like, imagining having to reread it again and be like, why do I have to deal with your stupidity? Why? That's all I'm thinking. But yeah, so enjoyed it. 4 solid stars. And finally, I reread Nevernight and Godsgrave, both by J. Christoph. I know for you, if you go, well, Noria, you read them? Yes, because just in case you don't know, Dark Dawn dropped yesterday. Yes, September 3rd. It dropped yesterday, which meant I needed to reread these 2 books in preparation / anticipation for that book that would absolutely and completely wreck my existence. And I'm certain nobody is surprised, because these books are definitely made like my favorite books when I read them. So they both got 5 stars. Godsgrave, still, I thought the twist at the end of Nevernight, like every single time it hits, I'm always like, whoa. But the twist at the end of Godsgrave, I like rereading it and being aware of all these things that is coming. I'm always like, oh my god. Because see, rereading Nevernight and being aware of what happens in Godsgrave, I'm just so excited. And now I've reread both of them. I can't wait for Dark Dawn to arrive and for it to blow me out of the water, because I know I'm going to cry. I know all my favorite characters are going to die, because this is not a fairy tale. Like, this is not a book about hope. One is grimdark fantasy. Hope is very hard to find in grimdark fantasy. Like, it's just something about the genre. You just expect to be absolutely broken, you know, at every point in time. So I'm not expecting to find hope. I came to this series for blood and vengeance and revenge and like gods and like assassins. And no matter how heartbreaking that ending will be, so far as Mia Cover baits everybody, baits the streets of Godsgrave, baits the streets of the entire empire in blood, and dedicates it to Goddess Naya, I am perfectly fine. Like, yeah, perfectly fine. So 5 stars for both books. And those are the books I read in August. It was, yeah, 10 books, no, 11 books. I wanted to read more, but like I said, I've been ill for the last couple of weeks, so reading has been hard. I've not even done much reading this month already, and I have a lot of books ready. I think I might actually film a TBR video for the first time in a while, because there are so many books I want to read, but I'm going to probably make it separate, because, like, you know, so many books to read, so little time. But anyway, those are the books I read in August. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what was your favorite book in August. I'm always looking to add to my TBR. it makes me happy to know that there are so many books. I know some people like don't like it when their TBR is out of control. I actually love it when my TBR is out of control, because it just means that there's so many books for me to read, and so it makes me happy. It makes me happy to know that I have so many more worlds. Like there's no end to amazing stories for me to discover. That's what makes me happy. So yeah, if you like this video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you want to. I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.
My strange addiction, my doctors can't explain my symptoms.